Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Rain Talks. I have Truekolors with me here from LA, a house music producer, artist. I don't know. You're incredible at most things, but I would consider your music house music, correct?
Yep. It's somewhere there. That's the
Um,
closest. Yeah.
Heavy on the piano, heavy on piano.
Uh, yeah. I love piano houses. Lots of like chord hits and stuff. So yeah, always. I need pianos always.
You personally have, we met probably 2 months ago now, 3 months ago for the first time. And when I listen to your music, Love Me Better
Mhm.
is one of my favorite songs, like of all time right now.
Oh,
So
of all times. Oh my gosh.
not of all time, but like active in the playlist rotation.
uh,
It's getting an aggressive rotation right now.
oh
Um,
man, I'm honored.
the heavy melodies with the piano,
Mhm.
the aggressive vocal chops throughout the whole song, and then like the sweet that the singer does a really good job. I'm a big fan. Just wanted to fanboy out and say I love it, and I listen to it every time. It's one of those things when it hits the playlist, I never skip it.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm honored, man, from a good producer like yourself. If you enjoyed them, so happy.
And then, so let's get a little background about you. So, like, how did you get into music? Where did it all start? And like, how long you've been doing it? Just overall
Um,
background.
Yeah, so I started playing violin when I was 5, not by my will, but my parents kind of forced it on me, and I used to hate it back then. But I eventually moved on to like string orchestra, playing like viola, and then in high school I really got into rock music heavily. So you can see the guitars there. I
Mm-hmm.
started to play a lot of band music, and I moved on to bass, drums, and then up until I was like 25, I was playing kind of semi-professionally at like bars in San Jose, and then yeah, around that time I first started going to Vegas, and then that's when I started to betray rock and roll music a bit.
Did you go to like a club for the first time? You saw a DJ play?
Oh yeah. And then I was like, rock is cool, but like you don't see people like dancing like crazy. And
No.
I always thought like electronic music had no depth to it, but that was just such a stereotype because yeah, I realized especially I started with trance and yeah, it can really be emotional without any lyrics. So I was really surprised by that, and that's how I got into electronic music production.
And what year was that? Do you remember?
2016, 15, 16. Yeah.
Nice. So you got it when, like, I say this nicely, electronic music started getting, like, the production quality started getting way better around then.
Right. That's so true. I recently was listening to that Zed song "Clarity," that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that was like right before the time when like production quality started to get better, or right around the time when it did. And I listened to it today. It's almost 10 years ago, and yeah, like the qualities have been skyrocketed since then. Like I think you and I could kind of make something in the similar quality of that song, which won a Grammy. But then the stuff that are coming out these days are incredible. I don't even know how people make stuff these days.
Yeah, I literally like listen to some stuff. So I'm like, I love like future based music, like melodic music, like really well. Like, obviously love like pop music. But like all the stuff that comes out like nowadays from like Illenium, Nurko, like all those guys, David said this guy. I was listening and I'm like, I think like there's so many layers and it's just like it's so good. It like pulls so much emotion and all the lyrics. Like
Mhm.
every I'm like, how do they do it every time?
I know. I mean, I think the sound design
Yeah.
has improved incredibly since then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's even like yeah, and then there's that right around then 2016 when I was like, I'm trying to remember um when it happened, but there was this weird crossover where like EDM started to become popular in the United States and popular culture, and then you start having like huge pop singers on tracks, like
Oh
Zed and them
yeah.
doing it, and you're like, it just like blew it up. Like, oh, Selena Gomez is on this? Sure.
Calvin Harris, Rihanna, those
Yeah.
are Billboard top artists on EDM songs, and those is eye opening.
Yeah, then it just blew up. I remember, yeah, Vegas now too. Like, I think every single hotel has a big nightclub that
Oh
has
man.
residency of DJs like nonstop, and it's like the main
Um,
moneymaker for them now.
yeah, it's incredible how the industry changed over just the past decade, and now it's definitely a mainstream thing. And I'm really glad about that.
Yeah, I talked about this. I had Gabby on for the first one. We were talking. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, I
I
watched it.
got into like EDM music when I found house music and like techno back in the day,
Mhm,
and I was like, it was 2006 to 2008. There was just
mhm.
like a couple people doing it, and I'd like go to my friends, be like, hey, listen to this house music. And they'd be like, I don't want to listen to this house music. Like, we're gonna put
It's
on Dave Matthews
repetitive,
Band. Like, leave me
boring.
alone.
Oh,
And I was like a pariah until like 2012, 2013 when everything started flipping over and it started
oh.
playing on the radio. Then everyone started listening to it all the time.
I used to be like one of your friends too back
Yeah.
then.
So you caught the bug in 2016. Did you already play the piano at that time too?
No, I'm still not a good keyboard player. I
I
still honestly
I,
just
I
click.
disagree, but
No, because those are me clicking the midis and the dock. So yeah, I'm not a really good keyboard player. Still learning now, but yeah.
yeah, my goal this year is to take lessons. I'm a drawer. I got to draw everything in, and
Hmm.
I wish I could just play the notes that are in my head to make it sound good.
Yeah, I know. Like with guitars, I think the music theory you get out of it isn't that thorough as much as you would get from pianos, and also like a lot of string instruments, you don't really hit a lot of chords. It's either like the lead melody or yeah. So I think that's where I'm lacking a little bit of music theory too. So I would like to just throw in chords without having to click the midis and move them up and down and find best sounding
That's the dream. So when you wanted to like start doing it, like what was the path for you to start producing music? Did you go start watching YouTube videos, go buy Ableton, get frustrated, give up for a while, then go back to it? I always like to hear like everyone's journey.
Oh, so I kind of started like without EDM. You heard of GarageBand, right?
Yeah, yeah. Comes with
So
every MacBook.
yeah. Oh, okay. It was like 2012 when I bought my first iPad and GarageBand came in with it. So I was making like rock music back then, but not really a lot of like playing. But there were a lot of samples there with like beat samples, guitar samples, vocal samples. So I was just putting things together. And then I haven't touched it for like 4 or 5 years until like 2017. And I was really inspired by Zed because he's a year younger than me, and I saw him on like top Billboard charts, and like I was thinking, I was seeing it at some clubs too, and how does this guy do it at such a young age? And I was like, maybe I can give it a try. At the time I thought it seemed a little easy, and then I downloaded Ableton and basically, like you said, went to YouTube and um, Googled like how to make this song by Zed, and that's how I started. And I got stuck with sound design. It was so difficult. I couldn't really grasp like what was going on, like the differences between which waveform, like even ADSR. I couldn't really get that right for like I think a few months. I was struggling with it, and then yeah, it was a very slow progress from 2017, and then I think around 2020 I first started to like put songs on SoundCloud or even share with my friends. So yeah, it's been like 3 years since I was confident enough to like share anything with anyone.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's extremely overwhelming.
Oh,
We pull up
crazy.
Ableton for the first time, you're like, I don't know what to do.
I know. Yeah, sound design. I still struggle with it too because like I know a lot of people who just like create their own sounds, but I still like use a lot of presets and tweak things here and there. But yeah, that's something really difficult for me still.
I would say that's difficult for everyone at all times.
Mm,
Besides the top guys, I don't know that many people. I don't know. This might be a dumb statement that are creating all their own sounds for every song, unless you're at the tippy top, because there's such a
mm,
library of everything that every sample or sound you'd ever want is 90% there that you can never ask for nowadays.
mm.
Here-
I've tried making a couple songs with my sounds only, and it sounded like crap. So I kind of gave up that route.
because we've talked about this before. You're like, okay, if I want this specific 808 kick, that sound I'm going for, right? If I go to
Mhm.
Splice, there's 500 to 1,000 or 2,000 of them,
Mm,
right? And I can't
right.
find it here.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's the right sound, or I don't know if this sound exists.
Yeah,
Whereas,
that's true.
and it's like they're all perfectly like polished sounds. First, all right, let me go make that sound myself, and then process it and tweak it to get it exactly the way I want from a time
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah, time that saves a lot of time too. And I've had this struggle or I guess like internal issue. Um, I think it might be a little bit arrogant, but I used to be like a purist, like thinking that people using presets or MIDI packs or whatever, not really good or honest producers. But then talking to our one of our instructors, Zach, telling us that we just can't keep up with the speed if we try to create everything every single time, And then that's when and also I've been watching a lot of Twitch streams where really established producers like Disclosure, Flume, everyone goes from presets and they switch things around or do things to make perfect sound. So that's when I kind of gave up that route.
I think it's an honorable like thought or mentality to have that'll push you in the right direction. But I think as the industry changes dramatically, and I think we've come into this new generation of like electronic music where you can't just produce one album and write an album like the old modern like industry in the old historical music industry in the past. Now it's about like keeping people's attention consistently with
Mhm.
like hits nonstop for if you're up and
Nonstop.
coming. So it's not like, hey, I don't need you to create 12 songs. I need to create a song once a month, every month in perpetuity while you want to
Mhm.
be active and touring.
Isn't that overwhelming just by hearing about that? One song a month?
It's I don't know how people do it because at some point if you're actually touring enough, where's the time in the day to
Right, right.
actually sit down and have a long session? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
On an airplane maybe, or I guess during
Yeah.
the day between shows when you're traveling and like anything else, you don't really have that mental space at all times or energy to have that creativity that you need to actually not only the creativity to create something that's good, but also like sometimes you just have to do work in the DAW that's not fun. But
Right.
it's just like you just got to put the man hours in to make it sound good.
Yeah, and it's one good song per month, not just one any crappy song you make. So I think like quality wise too, I mean I can force myself to make one song a week, but not all of them are good enough to be released. So I'm sure like the professional people make a ton of them and then still be able to pick one that's good a month and move on. But yeah, we got to get to that level.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think like if you just focus on putting out good work and just focus on consistently putting work in, you'll get faster and better and whatever the proper cadence for each artist is what they feel comfortable with, they'll fall into and try not to get pressured by people demanding to do 1 month because I don't know. I feel like that can get overwhelming very quickly if you fall behind,
Yeah.
and then you get unmotivated.
Mm. It's just inevitable that we release music as much as we can. Because honestly, I've been releasing for 2 years, but I only have 3 songs. I checked your YouTube, you had quite a lot, but like as soon as the gap between each song increases, like 6 months or more, like that momentum isn't really there anymore, and like the people or fans you gain kind of forget about you after a few months. So yeah, it's well, as a listener, I'm happy that there are constantly good songs coming out, but I don't know if I'm ready for that, but it's a goal.
Yeah, it's funny though. Like think about it though. This is I think about like releasing music every whatever, and then I'll flip like the my mentality and be like, Daft Punk release how many songs over the course of their career or albums? They release them pretty regularly, but I still listen to their old stuff constantly because they're just
Mm,
bangers.
right.
It's like the tip pop. So it's like I don't know, put it at your own pace and just put out your best work every time, and until you consistently do that, it, we'll see. Those people
Yeah,
also
consistency.
certain. Once you get to a certain level, you have a team behind you, which makes it a whole lot easier.
Ah, dude, I can't wait to have a team on social media, man. That takes up so much time.
You have a pretty good following right now.
Oh, well, it's honestly draining my soul. Like trying to come up with have a picture for like a few pictures a week, and a lot of times I don't think they're good enough. And like once I do, I you know go on like commenting on everyone, and it's just I don't have enough time to just focus on music production, but like that takes like literally a couple hours or 2 3 hours a day, and yeah, it's a lot to maintain.
I'm with you. I've started trying to be more active on my socials, and I hear it. It's like I have this little nagging thought at the back of my head that like I haven't. I was like I haven't posted anything today. I got to get done. Got to make sure it gets in. Like it's a weird feeling, but you like have to do it to get exposure nowadays for to get
Right,
attention, and it's
100%.
all part of the game. And the people that are, to be honest, that some of the people that are excelling the most in the space are the ones who are really like executing their reach via social media right now.
Ah, so much. I guess it's just like releasing music. Like if you don't post a lot often, like the reach and like exposure, like the algorithm doesn't make your stuff shown to more people. And yeah, I feel like obviously music is the most important thing, but not by a lot compared to other things like being consistent and disciplined, and how well you network with other people. I'm learning that there's so many other pieces to being successful in the music industry other than just being creative and making good music. So it's I think it's more than a full-time job.
What would you define as being successful in the music industry?
um, Having music as a full-time job rather than having to work another one to fund your music career would be, yeah, in my definition. Yeah, do you have one?
Um, I would say that'd be part of it. Um, it's definitely if you can find have the full financial freedom to pursue it full time, that I would just find that as being extremely successful. I think only a
Mm,
fraction of people ever get there. Um, I would say like true success would be like getting fulfillment of the process of every day because like doing there's so much work involved. If you're not truly passionate and excited every day to wake up and like open the door and just put work in, then like you're gonna hate like having that feeling where you're excited to go to work and like be fulfilled and put in all the hard work is like success to me versus like financial stuff. But it like
mm,
takes a long time to like get you have to have the financial freedom to be able to pursue that full time without the stress of going to a job and then fitting in time before work or after work and with everything else.
mm,
It's such a tough answer, but it's like having the mental space to really fully dedicate your life to something, and having the time to do that is like success to me because like the
mm,
process is the fun part.
okay. We In that sense we've experienced some sort of success then, right? I mean, you obviously you love making music, and that's why you're in this, right?
Yeah, it's like anything else. Like, we all do it because we enjoy it. Like it brings us joy. We like the creative challenge. It's one of those things where you can never be the best at it, or
Mm,
you can never stop learning. Like there's always something a better trick you can do. You can improve your sound design. You can become a better musician. There's a new plugin you can learn. There's always something. So it's not it's if you want a hobby that you can never reach the end of, it's perfect.
okay. Hmm. That's a way less stressful way to approach music production. I feel like maybe I should, yeah, be more grateful on the process.
I try to focus on the process as much possible. I've learned in life that if I focus on the goals, they seem overwhelming and out of reach. If I focus on just the process, I'll enjoy the entire thing and I'll enjoy the results and my goals exponentially more.
Something I need to take away from this podcast.
Yeah, I've read a couple books on it, and I've through Life of a Lens. It's just like be in the moment, enjoy the process as much as possible. Because like 99% of the time you're doing something, it's the process, and the goal is only 1% of the entire journey. So if like you're
Mm,
missing it, not enjoying that, and you're suffering for that one moment, once that moment is past, you're gonna be very disappointed in everything that happens after it.
right. As soon as you reach a goal, you're gonna have another one too, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I believe that the process will be kind of never ending because even if you're at a certain level, you're always improving, and like your peers are improving like crazy too. And I feel like the fast pace of this industry really, yeah, I guess it does help you to focus on the process more because things are just changing always, and you always have something to improve on.
Yeah, like think about like look at your goals right now and like your goals when you started. Like when like was one of your goals at one point just to release a song,
Right, right.
and
To be
that
able
like
to share.
yeah, when you finally release it, right, it felt good and like people were like listen to it and it gave you good feedback. But then after you got done, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, you're
Start
like
over. Yeah,
start
repeat.
over. You mean?
Mhm.
And I don't know if you. I'm assuming it's like anything else. Your music keeps getting better, but like you're like, okay, this was good, but after I released it, you're like, I could do better, and then like, and then
Mhm.
you're back in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And endless grind.
Yeah. Um. Speaking of new music, you got some new music coming out soon.
In June that I have released. So I've been doing self releases so far, but I'm trying to move away from it. So that's taking away some time, reaching out to or even finding labels that would fit kind of our genre because I feel like they're not a lot. I've been doing some label hunting these days, and maybe our stuff falls into like not really like classic or traditional house, but maybe some like indie pop or indie dance. And yeah, that's where it's taking a lot of time. But I have like about 4 songs that are kind of label ready to be released. But yeah, the label part is taking some time.
Yeah. For those who've never listened to our music, it's very heavy on the electro pop, house pop. I would say it's in between. It's general EDM is a good category, but almost all of it is very melodical, heavy on lyrics, um, not super structured on BPMs and s- sound design like other potential genres like trance or house or stuff like that.
Yeah, electro pop makes a lot of good sense. And the thing about that kind of like pop-ish electronic music genres, there aren't that many small labels, but there are these like massive ones like Spinning or Ultra or and like Interscope, and those are kind of out of reach for us at the moment. So we really need like smaller or independent labels to like grow on. But I think also that is another challenge that we have.
Yeah, I agree. I've been doing my research. I have one song that I've been actively. I just started shopping, sending out there, and yeah, there's not a ton of that type of electropop indie album for up and coming people because there's if once you make it, there's massive ones and you can
Really.
get massive reach because that's the sound that like the major record labels are looking for. But you got to get there somewhere. But there are if you're doing house music, UK bass, trance, techno, there's a ton of genre specific labels out there for indie for people to sign on to. Um, and I don't know too. I'm not limiting myself from reaching out to them. I think I'm reaching out to them if they're heavy on only one genre. That it's probably not the best idea. But my thought is as well. Hey, like they might already have everyone from this type of sound they would want by now. Maybe they want artists with other sounds.
Mm,
And you know what I mean? They're trying to diversify the sounds to reach out. The worst they can say is no. And that's just like part of the process.
okay, that's a good approach because I was only like trying to look for labels that have like a certain sound, but obviously that wasn't easy to find. And nowadays I see a lot of, for example, um, enhanced music, has like a
Hmm.
progressive house, electro house, like even trance. Yeah, there are actually, like you said, a lot of labels that are like branching out to other genres too. So yeah, I think that would be a
I try to reach my thought process right now. I'll let you know how it works out. Is reaching out to albums with or labels with multiple genres on them versus
um,
extremely. genre specific. If they're only doing trance, it's not going to be a fit most likely. So I'm just going to save them their 30 seconds of listening. But if they've
Mhm.
got a lot of stuff, especially that like they have a lot of progressive house that's got heavy on vocals, like I think there's might be an appetite, and it's worth filling out a form or sending them, taking a couple minutes to send a nice personalized email.
Mm, hey, I think you just saved me a few hours.
um, so that new song's coming out in June.
Yes. It's with my friend's label called Stolo. So I used to, well, for the most part, make like the genre we were talking about, um, like electro house, pop house, dance house kind of stuff. But this one is gonna be progressive. I took a jab at it, and it sounded halfway decent. So yeah, I was lucky that it was accepted.
Nice. And then name of the song, is it?
It's called Mother Earth. It's
Nice.
yeah. Like you always hear about like a lot of like environmental issues these days, global warming, and I was like imagining a scene where you had to leave the Earth for another planet because we've gone too far, screwing up our planet. So that's the vibe of it.
Nice. I can't wait to listen to that one. And then, so is the label local to LA?
It's actually in South Korea. So the head of the label dude is like a friend from college. He signed a song with Anjuna Deep. So that dude is like one of those like purists that we've been talking about who makes everything from scratch using like modular synthesizers and stuff. So yeah, well, luckily I knew him before he got really big, so that's how it worked out.
Nice, dude. I can't wait to listen to it. Hopefully, you can send me a SoundCloud link and I can listen to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
And then yeah, I have one progressive house song that I wrote, and then I was like, I love doing this, but this isn't like my passion. But I was like, I don't know where to place it. I was like, is it?
Mm,
Should I just sit on it for a while?
like, what was it that you didn't like about it? Because for me, like progressive house, I like that it's really melodic, but it's not a lot of like upbeat, like happy or like danceable stuff. But it makes you kind of like sit down and think about life, kind of like deep songs, right?
I like progressive house as a whole as a genre. I love doing it. I just get less joy making it per
Uh,
se. Maybe.
okay. Mm,
Maybe because there's more of a structure to it versus other
mm,
genres.
right, right. I feel like it's really like structured, like you said, like 5 minute long, like a minute intro, and then gradual changes rather than a lot of like abrupt like chord changes or structural things that we kind of do in other genres. But yeah, that's what I'm catching from too.
Nice. Yeah. But and then leading up to the release. So like this will be your first sign track.
Oh yes, correct.
And then what has the process been so far? Anything any learnings from getting your first track signed?
Um, I learned that networking is just as important as making good songs. Well, not just with this label, but I've seen a lot of like my peers or friends who've been signing, and a lot of them has to be with like knowing the person before you send a track to a label or a group. And yeah, I'm learning. I'm keep learning that. Well, you gotta make good music to begin with, and then like how you network with people, befriend people, how to be a giving person that can contribute or help the other person to succeed. I think yeah, I'm just learning that that's also a very huge part in being successful in music.
Yeah. I think nowadays, like you touched on a point where um, before there wasn't a ton of people that could make music, electronic music, right? Early 2000s, 2012, it's more and more popular, but there's less people that did it. Now, I think with the abundance of resources available, the internet generation, YouTube, like Splice, everyone, not everyone, but there's a large amount of people that have the access to the information, be able to make electronic music. So like being able to make good music is like table stakes. That's like the
Mhm.
first thing. And then what are you doing above that? Are you a good person? Do you help? Are you part of the community? Do you go to people's shows? Like, or are you a nightmare to work with and people don't want to work with you? So it's like, I think you can't just be a good musician anymore. You got to play the whole game to move
Right.
up nowadays.
You really gotta stand out of so many, thousands of really talented producers, and like you said, being a nice person, I think is the best way, and it helps the most, rather than just being ego-centered and knowing that you're good, and yeah, having that better than you kind of ruins everything. But yeah, like you said, being a good person, I think that's the best way these days.
Yeah, it's one thing I keep realizing as I get older. I think I'm a little bit older than you are. Is that this world is incredibly small.
So
That
much.
like if you're a good person to everyone all the time, people, and especially even in the music industry, people will find about you and your reputation will be good. But if you're a horrible person, you're an asshole, you're difficult to work with, like people will find out about you. And you don't think so. You're like, oh, I have all these labels, all these people, but like the world is smaller than you think, and your reputation is like all you have that you can try and keep intact like to the best of your ability.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the world is small for sure, but and also the music industry seems big, but like the people who are actively playing in it are a very finite number of people. And like you said, everyone kind of knows each other, like someone's friend's friend. And
Yeah, it's like four labels own like all the labels.
oh, right, right. That's crazy.
Or I think I remember when we learned about this, it was like I forgot what it was. Like there's the main ones, and there's the sub labels that have the sub labels that have the sub labels, and it all branches out.
Mhm.
And there's indie guys, but
Yeah, reputation, everything. You just gotta be a good person and share love and give whenever you can.
so you're in more of a. I guess I'm in a good spot too, but you're more in the entertainment kind of hub of the United States, almost in LA.
Oh yeah, luckily I found myself here.
So what's it like? Kind of, I feel like there's maybe potentially more competition for exposure because more people are trying to get people's attention in that town versus other town potentially. Do you think it's tough coming up in LA versus somewhere else, or it's easier because there's more connections to be made, or it's kind of a fine
um,
balance?
I think it might be a little easier, especially because like a lot of competitions is they're online rather than you know like physically in Los Angeles. I mean, there are lot of labels like physically located in Los Angeles, but we don't really go knock on the doors of the label and try to get deals there. But more importantly, I think there's so many shows, and whenever I go there, I like in the not especially on the stage, but like on the dance floor, I sometimes meet like really famous singers that collaborated with like big house musicians too, and like I haven't really done a lot of networking outside of like the people I already know, like with friends, but yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities to like be friends with people who are actually in the industry, and competition actually would be online writing emails and like trying to like get gigs like that rather.
Have you played a live show as Truekolors yet?
No, I'm just starting to learn how to DJ. It's been like 3 4 months, and I'm practicing for a set like a live set coming up in March 12th. It's yeah, basically a Twitch stream that I'm
Dude, that's exciting.
yeah,
Make sure you send me the link. I'll post it with this video, hopefully, if it comes out beforehand.
oh yeah,
And
thank you.
then I want to watch it.
Oh, thank you. Have you played with DJing before?
Yes, I have. I DJed a little bit in college.
Oh,
The last time I played a show was 2015.
mm,
And I haven't touched it since. Actually, I'm trying to order tables again, like a mixer again, like a Pioneer
mm,
XGJ RX3, to start practicing again, and get back into it because it's been a
mm,
while.
uh-huh.
And I used to only DJ house music, which is the easiest music to DJ in the world.
Oh, really? Okay, having trouble with that.
Oh, my point is, as long as like the BPMs are almost always 128,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and then as
agree.
long as you
Whenever.
like tag, you do like mixing key first, you tag the keys, and then if you get the extended mix, they'll have
Mm,
if from doing a simple mix or doing live or whatever it is, it's
mm.
there's more
Yeah,
leeway to mix stuff and make it sound good.
I agree with you, but just imagine other genres will be so much harder. I haven't even tried.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff I do now is around 140 BPM, but it can go all the way down to like 105, and it's all over the place.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I was looking, and I was like, I got to practice. I was like, I gotta get back
mm,
into this because like the transitions are completely different. Um, like melodically, there's a lot of different melodies going on. It's not like house where you have the consistent, you always have the consistent kick on the beat every time. So as long as you keep those the same, and there's not too much kind of the highs mixing too much, you can kind of mix stuff together pretty seamlessly and catch it all in the
mm.
same beat. But yeah, I got to practice. But all the DJ stuff is back ordered for like 2, 3 months. Like you can't even buy stuff online. Anything
Oh,
Pioneer is sold out everywhere.
oh, right, right, right. Hey, like you mentioned XTJ RX3. I just bought that a couple months ago, and it was so hard to find any place that has that in stock. I was just refreshing Guitar Center every morning, and yeah, I got lucky, but everything was sold out too. Is it still like that?
Yeah, I literally I went to go put an order in for one. It's like I think it ships either it said like mid March or maybe beginning of April, and I
Okay.
ordered in January I think or February a couple weeks
Ah,
ago.
mm. Hey, when you were DJing in college or just whenever in general, has it been any, I would say, did you have a lot of pressure? I feel like having to like make changes or transitions on the go compared to like on Ableton where we have all day to make those changes. Um, yeah, that's really I don't know. I think that's a really difficult part of DJing where
I would say I was playing fraternity parties, which was very different than the general crowd and audience, right?
Mhm,
And not the there wasn't ton of exposure to a ton of electronic music at that time in Georgia, and live shows and stuff like that. So the bar was set very low from a quality perspective, and
mhm,
whatever playlist you're curating. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I usually use Tractor Pro and Native Instruments, whatever their controller was,
mhm,
the laptop. They worked out
mhm.
well, but
Oh,
I'm
and,
trying to get back to playing some live shows sometime here in the future.
oh, that sounds fun. I hear often that a lot of people say DJing is a lot easier than production, but I maybe a little bit, maybe not even.
I think it's like a completely different skill set though.
Right, right, totally different. Not like more easy or difficult. It's just different.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's like anything else. It's like you then have to do it live.
Right.
Whereas most of the time when you're doing music production, it's you're doing it alone
Yeah,
in
you
your
have all the
studio, locked in a room or wherever it is by yourself,
uh
sitting in silence, just kind of going through your stuff with the ability to fail. Like 99% of the stuff you do sucks, but 1% of it sounds good. And you do that enough times, you have a good song. Whereas
mhm.
if you DJ, you got to be hitting it.
Right. No mistakes allowed.
Yeah. I think like anything else, I think it's just get as much practice as possible. I think doing stuff like Twitch streams or anything where you're like not under pressure, but like where you actually need to be in the zone more to do it correctly. It just getting
Mhm.
reps and practicing helps.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Gotta work on it. It's
Um,
exciting and nervous.
oh yeah, I think like, you just gotta get practice and you got to find time, and
Mhm.
hopefully you can find a good mentor that can DJ well.
Oh yeah, that'd be really crucial because I mean YouTube isn't helping too much on it.
Oh, so home setup right now. What do you all got going on over there for the
I have
studio?
mostly just two synthesizers. I have the Prophet 6 and Moog Sub 37. I honestly started using these a couple years ago, thinking that it might improve my sound design a lot. But honestly, I don't use these that much often. I stick with Serum and Diva a lot because a lot of things are visual, and especially modulating is a lot easier with like Ableton and other DAWs as well. But making cool sounds with these analog synthesizers is really like a lot easier than using a VST. But modulating is really difficult as you have to actually make the changes and record everything rather than you click and drag those modulations on VSTs. So yeah, I a lot of times I just use it as a MIDI keyboard and sometimes the Moog for like the sub bass kind of thing. And like I told you, I was doing a lot of guitar stuff before, so these are just a lot of like pedals, guitar
Mhm.
pedals. That sometimes I run them through the synthesizers, and yeah, sometimes they yield good results, but definitely not all the time.
Yeah, and then, what mic do you have there?
Oh, it's a blue microphone, baby bottle XLR. I think. Yeah.
And then what interface do you use for the MIDI?
I use Scarlett
Yep.
26i6, I think. Yeah. Which one do you use?
I use the Scarlett Solo because
Mm,
I don't really have that much stuff going in because I can't play
oh,
piano, so I just use my MIDI keyboard goes straight into my laptop, and then I have this
I,
USB mic I'm actually about to switch on over.
oh, that's cool.
Um,
I hear
UAD
that.
just came out with mics. I'm gonna grab one of them. They just have like a
Um,
beater mic.
mm, I've heard like great things about like UAD or other like more higher end interfaces. Do you think they actually make the sound better? That's what I've been
Um,
hearing.
I
Because
don't use them because I don't think that that is where I need to focus my time to make my songs better. You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Uh,
I think you can get to a point. I was actually talking about this with Gabby. Uh, I think the certain plugins are good when you get to a certain stage to put that final polish when you're
mm,
finishing a track that's really good. But like if I'm using plugins, right? I use plugin alliance for almost all my stuff, and then random stuff here and there. But like I'm going to use those to the best of my ability now, and then just replace everything at the end when I'm mixing and mastering with the best sounding plugin that I financially can afford for that
mm,
song. But I'm not going to just buy all like UAD plugins because I think it's going to make my stuff sound better. It'll put that last little bit of polish or sheen that'll put you above and beyond when you're consistently releasing music. But I don't think it's going to help that much.
yeah, I agree. It's kind of like the law of diminishing return applies here, where like as you go in the higher end, like you can spend a lot of money for a little bit of return compared to like we have other areas where we can put our more effort and you know see higher returns. So yeah, I fully agree. I don't think I'm there yet to choose between interfaces for
They
both. So
definitely sound better for sure.
no. Oh really? I gotta try.
But I think with all the UAD stuff, so they all the UAD stuff gets processed not with your laptop. There's like
Oh,
you have to have the controllers like the Apollo Twin or some any of the other stuff because they actually process everything with their own CPUs externally.
okay. Hmm.
So
Okay.
there's some hardware involved there. But
Uh,
one day I'll upgrade. But
yeah. No wonder they're pretty pricey.
yeah, um, they add up quick.
Oh my god. I was curious. Do you maybe do like have an LLC or do like tax deductions for all your music expenses by any chance?
I do.
Uh,
I also yeah, I own a company outside this in my full time profession. So I'm very familiar with tax laws and running stuff through an LLC. So um, I, I I'm not giving anyone tax advice. It's a good idea to be able to deduct your expenses according against this, but you need to be having revenue coming in eventually for it to make sense from the government's perspective through the
mm,
LLC.
okay. I just started doing that, and like you said, a lot of things add up, right? Like I was like doing my taxes the other day, and like tiny bills added up to like 20,000 something, and I was amazed how much I was just spending here and there to like promote music or
Oh yeah,
attend.
all your marketing expenses, graphic design work, plugins here and there, this and that. Like it adds up quickly. But so you're able to write off those expenses against the LLC, right? But
Um.
with certain tax laws, you can only write off losses so many years consistently
Oh.
without revenue coming in.
Okay. Like
I'm
is
not an accountant. This is not tax advice or tax law,
uh,
but I'm telling you that at some point you need to have money coming in to offset and revenue to offset the losses to you down the road.
do you know if it has to be a lot, like the revenue?
Talk to an accountant.
Okay, I'll do that.
The worst thing you want to do is get audited by the IRS and have money due.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
But at some point, if you start like playing shows and doing stuff, right, you have money coming in. If you're being paid in cash, you don't have to declare it. But then at
Mm,
some point, you cannot also not pay taxes on your income from
mm,
music and then also write off all your expenses.
mm,
It's like double dipping, and you will get caught eventually.
okay. Like
But
we get some revenue, but like not a lot from like streaming, right?
yeah,
Like barely. I was curious if that counts, but
yeah, it counts. But it's like anything else. If you make $1,000 or $2,000 a year from streaming, but then you write off $20,000 in expenses every
mm,
year.
okay. Has to make some business sense. Yeah.
After year 3 or 4, the government might be looking at you saying, "Hey, I think he's just avoiding paying taxes."
Okay. Oh, yeah, that sounds horrible.
You don't want that.
Right.
But if you start making a lot of money, it makes it like if you start playing shows consistently, bringing in more money, and then you're making 20,000, 40, $60,000 a year. Writing off those expenses has a huge
Mm,
impact on your overall tax liability for the government. So,
okay. Yeah, money wise too, time wise, it like pursuing music is just like I mean, I haven't opened up a business, so I don't know how like intensive that is, but I feel like it's just like owning a business where you have to invest a lot for a few years till you actually see any profit.
oh, I agree, 100%. You're definitely going to have to. I try to not get too caught up in buying new stuff, but it's definitely like a dangerous game
Mm,
because like I think we all have certain personality types, and there's especially in the music world, you're like, oh, there's new headphones that came out that I want. There's no speakers that came out. There's a new microphone. There's a new MIDI keyboard. Oh, this new plug-in that they came out with. Oh, it's only $100. Sure, perfect. I can't wait.
100%, yeah.
Oh, are those the HS6s Yamahas?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been loving these. Which one do you use?
I got the HS5s. I think.
Okay.
I regret getting them. I think I kind of want the HS8s, but they won't fit on my desk.
Oh, yeah, these take up a lot of room. But do you use headphones mostly for production or?
I have switched over to almost solely using headphones.
Oh, okay. Um, Probably because of the sub, right? I'm guessing.
Um, Part of it's with bass, part of it's from the general noise perspective.
Okay.
And I personally feel like I could hear the sound better when I'll just pull them in and just like really listen to what's going on.
Okay.
And then usually after I have stuff going, I'll switch my monitors on and play them through there and like feel how it feels, and then go to my car, put them on like my AirPods. I use my car a ton actually. I'll like
Oh,
pop it
me,
out
me too.
and I go crank it up and just see how it sounds in there. Because like if it's not vibing, like
Mhm.
through there, like my presets are all jacked up with bass and stuff. So I'm like, this is how
Mhm.
I would listen to it. If I'm not enjoying it, then I'm like something's missing.
Oh, it's not just me who bounces a song, runs to the car, listens to it, comes back all disappointed, make changes, go back.
Yeah, when it goes to kick and you're like, there's no bass, you're like,
Oh,
oh shit.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Glad to know it's not just me.
Oh yeah, it's but think about like how people listen to music nowadays. It's also different. I think Zach's brought this up before. How people listen to music now, our music is different from a perspective. Back in the day, think about like in the '90s or something like that. People used to have like cassette players, DVD players, but you had like those tower speakers with like the big
Mm,
12s, like a mid and the highs, and there you had two left and right stereo,
right.
like with an amp, and you're pumping out music that way. But now,
uh,
like 90% of music is probably listened to on a MacBook, laptop speakers, or your AirPods.
AirPods, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like if
Right.
your music doesn't sound good on AirPods or a Bluetooth speakers usually sucks on the low end,
Mhm.
but you got to like make sure the mid range has like enough like punch to it to come through. It just and then if you go to a club, all the
Yeah,
new
so
modern sound systems just look fucking all low end. You're not gonna hear
right.
anything. You barely hear the lyrics half the time.
Mhm. Like, gotta think about like mono compatibility and all that. So this, yeah, it has to be good on all medium. I feel like, but mostly like AirPods. I'm 100% agree that most of the music is consumed through headphones or AirPods speakers,
Yeah,
even phones these days.
I don't even know like do people even buy nice speakers anymore? Besides like there's like a
Audio,
small subgenre of audiophiles. Besides that,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, people listen to songs just on speakerphone on their phone these days. So,
or their Alexa.
uh, yeah, no bass.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how things are going. Um, yeah, like how to keep up with it, and but I will say that the competition is heating up. It's never been easier to make electronic music than it is now.
Oh, so true. Yeah, because I see like on the internet like 13, 14-year old producers way better than me. There's so many
Oh
that
yeah,
are talented. Yeah, and it's just like a lot about like having to stand out, and making good music is just it's the bare minimum. I feel like.
yeah, I agree. I have this theory too. I say this very nicely that
Mhm.
back in the day when electronic music first came out, it was all the kids who were like their parents forced them to take piano lessons and were in band their entire life. And like were forced not forced but like forced to take music, were part of the band, stuff like that, and then like got into electronic music because they're just music. I'm not saying music nerds like to me mean or whatever, but that was like the culture, and they knew music theory very well. They played instruments their whole life, so they're like, oh, I found this thing with a laptop, and they're part of like the technology generation, so it just clicked. That was like the original people. um,
Mhm.
and that was like the first wave of electronic artists that came on the scene because they'd all been playing piano their whole life, and they were translated very directly into the DAW to what they were trying
Mhm.
to do.
They
Um,
started to do something pleasurable for themselves now. Finally,
yeah, but
something.
now it's like anyone. It's just like anyone who has interest in this kind of music can, if spin up Ableton, you get the light version, or you can use Bandcamp or whatever it's called on your MacBook and get
Mhm.
spend a Saturday watching some YouTube videos, and you can be off of the running. And if you're
Mhm.
passionate about it, you put the work in.
It's amazing for the listeners. Like so much competition means better quality, but yeah, not as much for us.
Yeah, and you even have the ability to get feedback way faster nowadays than you used to.
Mhm. Oh, right, right. There's so many like really well experienced people who would give like really thorough, detailed feedback, whereas compared to like asking your friend, "Oh, it sounds good."
Yeah. I feel like everyone knows that has at least one friend, at least that does music. And that's like one thing I'm trying to get better at on feedback wise is like maybe it's a little scary to do to put it out there to other people that are music producers, but just get anything I'm doing in front of other people as soon as possible to get constant feedback
Mhm.
throughout the process instead of the end of the process to make the most polished product as possible.
Yeah, might
I,
be hurting, but best way to improve.
yeah, yeah, I'm trying to like look at it. I think we're lucky that we're part of a community that's very like open and welcoming, that gives feedback very well and supports your stuff even if it's not. They don't say they give like no one's mean if it sucks. They're just
Right,
like do
right.
this, make this is I like the direction. This is what we should do to make it better, and they're giving you actual direct feedback that can help push the track in the right direction to make sure it's getting to the quality you need.
Yeah. Mm. It's important that those people are kind too, because if they're
Yeah,
too harsh, you might want to just give up.
yeah. If you're mean giving music feedback, pardon my language, you're a fucking asshole
Yeah.
because everyone's stuff sucks at some point.
It's all subjective too. I mean, it
Yeah.
might suck to you, but might not to other people.
Um, but yeah, it's like be nice.
Mhm.
Everyone starts from some point. There's
Yeah.
there's always something to, or even if they need to throw it away, just tell them nicely.
Yeah.
Um, so getting into you've released a couple songs now. You're kind of getting experience in it. If you were like to give advice to your younger self, what would be the advice you give to you someone getting into the game for the first time?
Mm, I think you mentioned the word consistency earlier. I think that's almost everything. Like even if you can only put down like an hour or like 30 minutes a day to do it, I would say don't take breaks, but just keep going at it. And also don't like mentally don't stress too much about it because it's gonna be a long journey no matter what. And like you said, you gotta enjoy the journey to be successful and to be running for the whole time. So yeah, don't stress yourself too much and be consistent would be I think the two most important takeaways.
That is great advice. Everything I'm good at today, I sucked at one point, and
Same here.
I always remind myself every time I start something new. Um, and then from a music production tip, what is something that you learned that you wish you would have learned sooner? That is a tip or trick or piece of advice.
Um, Separating the processes between production and songwriting has been the biggest so far. Because I've been doing everything all together and I would get mixed up and not become efficient and waste like 2 3 months on a song kind of. So I think I would focus on songwriting like way before I even get into production. So once I have like a good idea about the song, then I think I should move on to production because you can polish a turd and still sound bad. But
Yeah,
if the song is good, I think it still translate really well.
I agree. I'm trying to focus on that exact same thing right now of like just focus on what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, it's tempting to like move on to sound designing while you make a song, but yeah, just it's eventually gonna make things, more messier.
Yeah, because like how many times have you been just like playing around with like a serum preset or any plugin, and then you're like, oh, I just wasted 30 minutes just sitting here going back and forth with something that does not move this track along at all.
Right, right. That becomes like a month and 2 months, 3 months, and yeah, that adds up.
Do you work on multiple things at one time, or you try to focus on one track and finish it all the way through before you start new projects?
I can't work on multiple songs for some reason. Yeah,
You
so
can't.
I cannot. Yeah, I'm like so focused on one thing and I keep trying to like change it till like the musical part sounds good, and that process takes me a very long time, like a month if I'm lucky. But yeah, polishing the musical part of it, I'm so focused on it that I can't really come up with other melodies when I'm stuck with one already.
Interesting. I bounce around all the time, but
Oh,
um, that's also my fault. But um, yeah, oh, man, that's gonna be tough. Focus on one song. So, what do you do when you get burnt out or you have a creative block?
um, yeah, like when I mentioned about consistency, I just put it aside and sometimes not finish it or just take a lot of breaks. I mean, I haven't found a better way to overcome the creator blocks. I'd lucky to take some advice if you have any.
I don't know if I have great advice. I don't know if this is a good. It doesn't fix my creative block, but I tried to do stuff where it gets me working, and my brain flowing, not on that. Let me explain. So like sometimes what I'll do is I'll just say, hey, like I don't know what I want to do right now. So all I'm going to do is take a track I really like. I'm going to pull it into Ableton, and then I'm just going to try to recreate it, the sound design as much as possible. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to tag it. I'm going to listen to it, tag it where the intros are, the build ups, the drops. I'm going to tag everything on it, listen to it, and then I'm going to start saying, oh, let me analyze every piece of that each piece. Oh,
Mm,
all right, there's a little shaker that comes in here around like the 30-second mark. I'm gonna start tagging it, and then like just start listening to like a song and like analyzing it, and then like rebuilding it a little bit in the DAW. It has nothing to do with my track, but it just gets me like going. hoping that
Mhm.
like I see something that they're doing and just pick up on something I from a track I respect. But I'm going through the motions, and hopefully when I get back into mine, my brain's been like has the energy and the creative like synapses are flowing to hopefully assist in that project.
I mean, while you're doing that, you can get inspired like musically too, right?
Exactly. So like I would figure to just do something instead of just looking at mine frustrated.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great advice, honestly. Yeah, I should take on that.
I don't know. Well, let me know if it works, but it's a good way for me to like practice when I need to practice and hear what other
Yeah,
people do. Because
I've
like
never
think
done
about
that.
how many times you've listened to a song, just one song, and just literally like analyzed it. You're like, oh, what's in the background back there? Are those
Mm,
strings like kicking in slowly and like going through every piece of the song?
mm, okay, yeah, never done that. I really should start doing that.
I don't
Sounds
know.
like
I just try to imitate what the good people that are at the top are already doing because
mm,
they have to be doing something right.
yeah, it's like a textbook, I guess. You learn from them.
Yeah, and like everyone has their own sound, but you got to pick up the good stuff from people here and there. I don't know. That's the only advice I have for creative block,
Yeah, that's better than just staring at the computer or
but
taking
yeah,
breaks.
yeah. Sometimes you just stare at the project and you're like, anything I do right now will just make it worse.
Nah, so many times, yeah.
I think Taylor told me he's like, dude, every time you open it up, save a new version.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been doing that, yeah.
I need to
Because
do that because I've gone back a couple versions before and be like, did not get better at all.
especially mixing too. I would spend like a whole day mixing it, and like I compare with the one from yesterday. It's even worse. That happens quite often to me.
Yeah, especially dude, when you're mixing a track, you're like, oh, this doesn't sound better at all.
Oh yeah, way worse sometimes.
Oh shit. I'm trying to think. And then are you coming up Miami Music Week, you going?
Oh yes, yes. Are you too?
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for that. Do you have any labels or parties you're interested in off
I
the top of
think
your
I'm
head?
only going for Thursday and Thursday night potentially. So I'm in Atlanta, so it's easy flight for me.
Oh, nice.
So I might get down there Thursday, and then I'm doing the whatever the tritonal concert is Thursday night.
Oh, is that
Taylor Torrance is playing. I think it's
oh enhanced
Enhanced. That's
enhanced
what it
party?
was.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I might go to that. I originally planned a trip for like my friend's birthday who's going to Ultra, and that's a lot of conflict because like I've seen a lot of good parties throughout the whole weekend, and yeah, so I'm trying to catch that one. I think Thursday might be the most busiest one. You're going to the barbecue too, right?
I'll be at the Cosmic meetup.
Oh yeah, I'll meet you there.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see you.
me too. Me too. I'm looking forward to see everyone in person. I think it should be a good time. But do you have anything else planned outside of Thursday, or you like
Um,
Friday and Saturday you're looking at?
um, I think some not really remembering a lot on the top of my head, but like there's some tech house and um, UK bass labels like Diplo, like Leaf Floss, Republic, Mars, or Wax Motif if you heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like those harder songs. I really enjoy them, but I can't make them. It's a struggle because I really enjoy those stuff, but um yeah, like harder house or techno. Somehow I make them cheesy. So yeah, but I still want to like try a lot of tech house labels there on there.
I kind of want to stay. I don't know. I'm just deciding what I want to go to or not. It'll be a game time decision. But I know there's also I forgot whoever Nostalgics is playing a pool party on Friday at somewhere.
Oh really? Friday.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think, or maybe Saturday, Friday.
oh,
One of them. She's doing a pool party.
okay. Oh, that sounds fun. I guess there are going to be a lot of cosmic people there as well.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I'll for sure at least go on Thursday, and I might come back to Atlanta Friday. But we'll see. It's gonna be a good
Okay.
time either way.
Yeah, next year I'm only going to plan for the music week instead of Ultra.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't interest me. Ultra. I might be getting too old. I can't do
uh,
I can't do a whole day like that.
yeah, it's a lot of physical work.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes I just like to go to like one show, 3 4 hours.
Mm.
Back to my hotel room at the end of the night. It's like
Mm.
we have in a month. I have tickets to go see Lane 8 in Atlanta,
Oh
and I was like,
wow, that'd be great.
oh, it's gonna be sick.
Uh,
He's playing at this like super small venue in Atlanta that's like pretty new. So
yeah, smaller venues always, more intimate setting. I love those.
he's actually doing a thing where you're not allowed to use your phone during the concert.
Why is it like a class
No
in
pic,
Colorado?
no pictures, no video.
Wow, wow, I've never heard of that before. That's great.
I've done it, but comedy shows before. It's big.
Okay.
But Lane 8, he was like, this entire tour, I'm doing it. Like, I need you there in the moment to enjoy your time. Like, don't be taking pictures and videos. Just like enjoy the music and like enjoy the night together.
Hmm. Like, do you get kicked out if you pull up a
Probably. I
phone?
don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen exactly. Because I've been
Oh,
to when I went to Aziz Ansari in Atlanta, he
mhm.
did that, but you had a bag, so you checked your phone
Wow. Whoa.
and they like put it in a bag for you. I'm not sure if I
Mhm.
remember if I held it and they locked it, and then you have to like go have them unlock the bag. I think that's what it
Oh,
was.
wow. Wow. That's pretty serious.
Um, but it was cool though, but because like everyone there at least was fully focusing and not on their phones the whole time.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I bet it's great for the performer when everyone's focusing on the music solely. Yeah. But I'd love to take a couple pictures too.
Yeah, I have the same debate. I'm like, I don't want to. I want to enjoy the moment and be in the moment, but I
Mhm.
also want like one or just two or like a couple of small videos just to remember
Yeah, I
from like a
know.
nostalgia perspective.
Uh, yeah.
Um, so I can like go back and look back and remember it and
Mhm.
bring up good memories.
Yeah, totally. That's something new to me. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I wish they would just record their sets live and post them
Yeah,
afterwards.
post it online so we can listen to it while we work.
That'd be nice. I know. Did you ever watch? I think Lane 8 did like a set when COVID happened. He was like on a boat in the lake. It was like 2 hours
Oh,
on YouTube. He did a live stream.
oh, okay.
Highly recommend you watch it.
Oh, I might today. I think I should.
If you're like working and you need music to listen to, I think it's like an hour and a half or 2 hours long. It just goes
Mm.
nonstop.
Oh, okay. Sounds nice.
All right. I think, dude, we're over an hour.
Oh,
Is Let's wrap this thing up. Truekolors, I appreciate you coming. This has been awesome. I'm excited for your track in June. Please send me the link so I can listen. Um, I'm a personally big fan of your music. I think you're extremely talented, and I'm excited to see where your career goes because I think it has nowhere to go but up.
yeah. Thank you so much for the invite and your kind words. We're in this together, so let's do it well and pull each other up and see each other grow.
Dude, appreciate it. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.